Line, and in this tutorial we are going to draw a lake with a little duck in front and a fisherman going on, and it's all in a sunset and it's very fun to do. So I wish you all the luck with it and all the fun. Here you can see a study of a fisherman that I've drawn some time ago, and I thought it was so nice with the sun setting and all that I want to show you how it was done. For the setup I use graphite powder, and I make this myself. I simply use a graphite bar and a sharp knife, and by scraping it you can make a lot of graphite powder for you to set up sketches. What I'm also using in this drawing is, of course, simple drawing pencils, graphite pencils, in all kinds of softness. Now for the setup of this drawing, I keep in mind that I have 3 parts in my drawing. It's the sun setting, which is light, and that's in the back. Then for the front, I'm using a tree and the fisherman that's sitting on the river bench, and a duck that's floating in the river. So that will be in the front of us. For the middle section, I use some parts of land that are in the lake. And that will be our middle part. And then we will work out to the back, which is very undefinitioned. It will be blurry. When setting this drawing up, I start out with the duck, and I simply use some simple lines just to decide where the duck will be in our drawing. This one is looking backwards. Maybe he wants to pick up his wing and give himself a little bit of a wash or something. And it's very, well, I keep it as simple as possible, because later on I will be rubbing everything in with the graphite powder. And the duck is sitting in some reed, and there's a tree on the right side with our fisherman. The fisherman is sitting on the river bench, and I simply put in his head and his shoulder. And of course the duck is really in front of us. The fisherman is slightly more in the back, in the middle part. The right tree is in the front part. Behind the fisherman there's also a little bit of land. And this is where your horizon would be, somewhere about. I draw in some trees in the left. There will be reed in the front. A little bit, hello, and my cat. And a little bit of reed on the river benches. And once I have this, I already start rubbing in the graphite powder. I use that to quickly paint in, if you like, the whole area, the whole drawing. And I want it to be dark on the outside. I will be sparing out the sun part, where the sun is setting. And I really rub it in as quick as I can. I've also speeded up the time a little bit, but I do this very quick, so I get to see what the dark parts are and what the light parts are. Once I've done that, I can add a little bit of detail. Here I'm adding in a little bit of detail for the duck, but I keep building up the drawing very patiently. So I do not get in all the details all at once, but I just get the feel of light and dark in this stage of my drawing. This is my fisherman, and as the sun is behind him, you can see a lot of shadow. He's wearing some kind of cape, and he is sitting there next to that tree, between all the reed that is really in front of us. Here I am setting in the contours of the tree that is in front. For the fisherman itself, I do not use a lot of detail, just a suggestion, but I do want the fishing rod to stand out in front of the sun that is setting. I also place in the little holders that hold the fishing line. Pieces of land I also contour in, and a little bit of shadow that is casted on the water. It's the reflection of the land that is in our lake. Now and then I want to take a glance at what I'm doing, and now I'm getting a pencil that's 4B. It's a soft one, and with that 4B pencil I can add a little more detail into the duck that is floating in front. As you can see, I am drawing in a little bit of reflection in the water, because I want that feel of difference of what is water and what is land. I add a little bit of wrinkling into the water, but just with a little bit of lines. For the reed in front, I'm using a eraser pencil, and with the eraser pencil you can easily draw out the whiteness of the reed that is in front. Somewhat more detail into the duck, but again, not too much yet. I'm just keeping the feel of how dark I can go. The lines that I've drawn with the pencil eraser, I can now follow with the 4B pencil. I draw between it, so the reed that is really dead and dry really stands in front of us, and I draw in between the white lines. I also use more shadow now in the fisherman. I keep drawing between the whiteness of the reed in the front of us. For the tree itself, I use also rather a lot detail. So I try to draw between the whiteness of the reed, what's in front. And I try to put in as much as organic lines as possible to give the tree that real tree, that rough tree look. I kind of follow the wild lines that I've drawn with my fingers and the graphite powder. But the branches, the really small ones, I dark out quite a lot, that stand out in front of the sun that is setting. Okay, now for the left side. For these trees, I also use a little bit of detail, of course, but not as much as that I've done in the right tree. Also here, I'm making use of the rough lines that I've drawn with my finger and the graphite powder. The same kind of tree that is on the right side, same brand, same species. And here I add in a little bit of shadow for the lower part of this river bench, this piece of land. And what I also do here, I'm zooming in here, is using my pencil eraser to draw in some reed again that is kind of dead and dry. And then I place a little bit of reflection to get that watery feel. Now and then you can see me rubbing, and you can rub all you like, because you can always erase out what is too dark, or if you want to get some more detail in, you can always use your pencil eraser to get some whiteness back. And here in the middle you can see that process, because I want that middle part to be as light as possible. This is where the sun is hitting the water, the sun is setting, so there's a lot of light going on in the middle area of your drawing. Correcting my duck here a little bit. You can see in the far distance, I hardly well, I put no detail at all in there. It has to be as fake as possible. It's quite damp here and foggy in the distance. You can merely see the horizon. I'm drawing it in here with a 2H pencil. This is where my horizon is. And I think the trees are just a little bit too dark for the moment of the day. And also here you can see, you can easily draw in some light branches and read very easily with the pencil eraser. It's kind of like you are painting with graphite. It's very nice to do. And you can keep correcting and keep shifting with the graphite as much as you want. And it's so nice to do. Once I have those light details again, I can place real dark areas next to them so that they pop out really good in front. So you can really get the feel of what's in front and what is in the back. Get that dynamic feel of depth. Here in front I want the wing that is going up a little bit more darker, and here by the tail and just beneath the duck I can place in a little bit more darkness and shine in the water. And here I'm putting in some extra detail in the reed for the middle area so that it pops out a little bit better. A little bit of that shine in the water. The branches that are in front of the sun, I really want to stand out. So I really draw those in really black as possible. And also the rod. The fishing rod, I want all the attention to go to that. It's exactly in the middle of my drawing in this case. So all the attention is drawn towards that rod. I think the horizon can be a little bit more blurry. So I'm taking that out in the middle where the sun hits the water. And then I add some more branches that really stand out against the whiteness of the sun. And I keep blurring in all what is in the back. Well, so far so good. This is as far as I will go. I wish you all the luck and all the fun with this drawing. Hope you will try it too. And of course I hope to see you again in one of my other drawings. Always take care. See you later. Bye bye.